how to start a remote cleaning business. So in the last year or so, there's been a huge surge of interest in what's called the remote cleaning business model. In effect, this allows you as the business owner to run your cleaning business completely remotely without the need for a local office, vehicles, local office staff, anything like that. All you need is internet connection. And this is something that is completely possible to do. I have a cleaning business myself. We're in 4 cities. We do north of 7 figures every single year. So in this series, I'm going to record 3 in-depth videos about how you set up a remote cleaning business. The first part, and what I'll talk about today, is all about the marketing, the client marketing side. Part 2 will then go on to recruitment, and then part 3 will be about systems and processes and how you bring in office managers to run the business for you. So let's jump straight into it and talk about client marketing. So really there are 2 key parts that we need to get right and understand when we are setting up a remote cleaning business. So first of all, it's how do we book new clients into our calendar? How do we price these jobs? How do we allocate these jobs out to cleaners? And then secondly, it's about which marketing channels do we use? There's going to be obviously a fair focus on online marketing, which can be run completely remotely rather than the things like flyering or anything that requires any local presence. So when we think about client marketing, we need to think about how do we manage all of this being completely remote. It doesn't matter whether you're 10 miles outside of your location area or another country. We need to have systems in place that allow us to attract potential clients and then book those clients into our calendar. So firstly, let's think about how do we actually get a prospect or a new client from making an inquiry about our cleaning services to actually becoming a client of ours. So the first thing to say is that the remote cleaning business model, in my view, works really, really well for residential cleaning companies as opposed to commercial cleaning companies. And the main reason for this is all around pricing. So in my business, we use a fixed pricing model based on the size of the client's property. So we will ask them how many bedrooms do they have, how many bathrooms do we have, and how regularly they would like their homes to be cleaned, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. And we would give the same price to clients that have the same number of bedrooms, same number of bathrooms, and the same frequency. We do not require to go in and do any in-home visits. This is something that is still pretty common in the industry today, particularly with those, more old school businesses that have been around for a while, before, online and internet was such a dominant force. So if we are running a remote cleaning business, we don't have the ability to send in people to give bespoke quotes for any potential clients. So this model works really well. You could base it off square footage, you could base it off number of bedrooms and bathrooms, whichever direction you go in. The most important takeaway with this is that you need to have something that allows you to give a potential client a price there and then without having to look specifically at their homes. And I would say this model is actually better because it allows you to scale much more quickly. If you can imagine, say you have a cleaning business where you are doing in-home estimates and you're sending out people to do, say, five a day on average. Well, if you want to grow your business more quickly, you'll need to be doing more estimates, more clients. So if you went from 5 to 10, it means that you need to find, either those existing people to do more estimates in a day, or find other people to do those additional estimates. So by having a fixed pricing model, it really allows you to grow and scale much more quickly. When a client or a potential client gets in touch with you and asks for a quotation, where do we go from then? So really, and as I talk about a lot of my other videos on my channel, ideally we want to get that potential client on the phone. Obviously, that if they're calling us directly, that's great, but many of them will email us for some further information, or they'll fill out an online inquiry form. We want to try and get these people on the phone if we can, because in my view, this is the very best way to sell, our services. Really, we want to be pricing high enough that we're generating enough profit. So to justify a high price, and often our pricing will be higher than the competition, we need to tell those clients, why we believe that our prices are justified. And this should be, conversations around the quality of the service, the types of cleaners that you work with. But also, by getting those potential clients on the phone, it allows us to answer any specific questions they have. Maybe they've decided to cancel their existing cleaning company and try something else, and you can find out exactly the reasons for that. Basically, the phone allows us to build a rapport with the potential clients. At the end of the day, the client is still entrusting us to come into their home and to clean for them. So that degree of trust is super, super important. So we want to try and get those potential clients on the phone, and then in an ideal world, the client would say, yes, let's schedule in a cleaning, and you would close that client there and then. And this is where the next piece of the puzzle comes in. So you will need to have some software that allows you to take the client's payment details, the card details, and then confirm them in the calendar. There's lots and lots of scheduling software out there. You really want to use the scheduling software that is specific to the residential cleaning industry. The two I always recommend, the clients I work with are ZenMaid and Booking Koala. I work with lots and lots of clients that work with both of those two softwares. And the reason why I say you want to use a software that is specific or specialized to the residential cleaning industry is that you'll just find that it's just much more usable and really much easier to use than a more generic scheduling software that you may come across. So if a client is on the phone, they want to say, yes, let's go ahead and book, that scheduling software will allow you to take their credit card details, because most of them will be integrated with Stripe, which is an online payment processor. Once you have the details, that client is booked there and then in the schedule, and they will get a reminder email, they get a post job completion email, a rating email, and importantly, it will allow you to charge that client by their card payment after the clean completes. And that is the other part of running a remote cleaning business. There are people still out there that use cash payments, will want to do bank transfers. When you're running a cleaning business, you do not want to offer those. You want to offer a card payment only option that is completely remote. For example, if you are offering the ability to take cash, then your cleaners need to deposit the cash in the bank, they need to transfer it to your account. It gets very, very messy. It goes very much against running a remote cleaning business. So only use card payments to book those clients and then to charge those clients on the successful completion of those jobs. The client is in the calendar there and then. The beauty of using the phone is that, when we talk about, using virtual assistants and office managers, and that will come in part 3 of this series, it doesn't really matter where your VA is based. They could be based, in another part of the country, or they could be based overseas in the Philippines or South America. But phone software, online telephone software like OpenPhone, like RingCentral, all allow you the ability via a login to essentially use your computer as a phone system. So you can log into OpenPhone, and then let's say your virtual assistant is based in the Philippines, but your cleaning company is based in the East Coast in the US. The VA, because they have the login details, can log in from the Philippines, and then essentially their computer gets turned into a phone, and they can dial out to clients to speak to clients, but they can also receive inbound client inquiries as well. So you want to use an online phone software. Many of these softwares will also have the ability to send out SMS, and SMS is a really great way to communicate with potential clients as well, because sometimes it will be difficult to get clients on the phone. And if they send you an email and you try and call them back and they're busy, maybe they're tied up at work. But if you send them a follow-up text message, what you find is that the open rates and the response rates from SMS is very high. It tends to be a really great way to get those clients to, for example, you can ask them, when is a good time to call, and then you can make the call and then obviously try and close them there and then. So SMS tends to be a really great way to communicate. And obviously we've got the old school email method as well. So again, if your VA is based in the Philippines or overseas, if you have given them login details for your inbox, they can simply communicate with potential clients by email, as well as receiving inbound inquiries as well. So phone software, SMS software, email is obviously all online. Those are the three ways to communicate with potential clients when running a remote cleaning business. So that first part of this video talks about, what happens when a potential client gets in touch. How do we price those jobs? How do we book those jobs in? In the second part now, I'm going to look at, which marketing channels to focus on specifically. With running a remote cleaning business, we are not able to do more traditional methods of marketing. So for example, leaving flyers or building relationships with local property managers or anything that requires any physical presence is obviously off the table when running a remote cleaning business. But for me, this is perfectly fine because in my opinion, the very best marketing channels, whether you're looking at online or offline, is really digital marketing. Online marketing, I believe, is the most effective way to get new clients into the business, whether you are running a remote cleaning business or not. And this primarily comes down to your ability to track. It's much easier to see which channels are performing well, which are getting you the most money, and which aren't. In the offline world, if you're flyering potential clients, it's much harder to track those efforts. We've done it many, many times in my own cleaning business. And even when we are tracking those offline channels, we find that they tend to be less effective than the online marketing channels. So there's a few channels that I really recommend business owners focus on, and I go into depth in these on other videos on my channel. But for those of you starting off, I always say Bark and Thumbtack are two great places to focus on. These are essentially pay-per-lead sites. These are great for startups. They don't actually require you to have a website at all. You just need to you need to have an email address and then a cell number. But essentially what happens with those two websites is that they will have lots of potential clients who are looking for example, a bi-weekly service in this particular zip code, and they have a 3-bedroom property. And then, you'll see all these leads coming in if you sign up for Bark or Thumbtack as an advertiser, and then you can decide which you would like to pursue. You can buy that lead, and essentially what happens is you pay a dollar amount for those leads, and in exchange for that dollar amount, you get that person's contact details. You get their phone number and you get their email address. And then once you have that, you can then follow up with that client and try and convert that potential client into a booked client on your schedule. So Bark and Thumbtack are great options. They're pay-as-you-go services. So, you're not locked into any monthly contract. You're not locked into 6 or 12 months or anything like that, as you get with other pay-per-lead sites. So they're a really great place to start. They're not perfect, but a really great place to start, particularly if you're starting up your cleaning business. Once you have those two up and running, really, I believe that the very best place to put your marketing dollars is Google and Google marketing. The first thing you want to do is to set up a Google business profile. And essentially what this is just a social profile on Google. And you will have seen this, if you type in cleaning, say you're based in San Francisco, cleaning companies in San Francisco, you'll see a section in the middle of that first page where there is a map, and you'll see 3 or 4 companies. You'll see their name, their address, the ratings, and essentially those listings are Google business profiles for those cleaning companies. So the very first thing you want to do is just go to Google, set up a Google business profile. They'll require you to verify your address and things like that. But once you have that up and running, this is really important because this should be where you want to try to collect your client reviews. So once your customers have completed their cleanings, then you want to send them a rating email, and that rating email should direct to your Google profile. The reason why this is really important is longer term, this will be part of your SEO strategy. So if someone is typing, as we said, cleaning companies in San Francisco, ideally you want to be one of those top 3 companies that are visible on page 1. And for those of you that don't know much about SEO, getting to those top 3 positions is very, very difficult. There are many, many more than 3 cleaning companies in San Francisco. So if we can become one of those 3 visible, we'll get a huge amount of interest in our business. We'll get leads, we'll get bookings, and ultimately the company will grow that much more quickly. This takes time, however, so the sooner we can get that set up and started, and the sooner we can start getting reviews, the better. So once you have a Google business profile set up, then the next step is to set up your Google local service ads, campaign. So Google LSA for short. It's also called Google Guaranteed. Google chops and changes names. It doesn't make it particularly simple for us, but this is basically Google's pay-per-lead site. So similar to Bark and Thumbtack, you will tell Google which locations you're based and which types of cleaning inquiries or cleaning quotes you're interested in. And then Google will send you phone calls, and they will send you message leads, and they will charge you, again, a set dollar amount for those leads. Once you receive the calls or receive the message leads, then it's over to you to try and close that client, close that potential client into a booked client in your schedule. So Google LSA, the Google Local Service Ad, sits at the very top of page 1 on Google. So this can be a really, really great place to advertise. Again, there are lots and lots of cleaning companies out there, and there are limited Google LSA spots. So, there is a different challenge about how do you maximize your visibility at the top of the page. But setting up Google LSA in the first place and putting some money to work, is a no-brainer. So you want to get that set up as soon as you get the Google business profile approved. You do need your Google business profile and a minimum of 5 reviews at the beginning to then apply to Google LSA. So one of the things that I will tell people is, just clean for your friends and family, get them to review you, get to those 5 reviews, and then apply for Google LSA. So once you've got Google LSA applied for, it'll take a few weeks to get approved. You'll have your Bark and Thumbtack running. Hopefully you'll start getting some reviews for your Google business profile. And at the same time, you want to set up your Google Ads campaign. So Google Ads is Google's pay-per-click platform. So it works slightly differently to Google LSA in that, every time your advert is clicked, Google will charge you for that click. That person will probably go to your website or a landing page, and then you want to try to, if you have a really good landing page, a highly converting landing page, a high percentage of those people will then call you, and then obviously from there you want to try and close that client. So Google Ads is a really great thing to run. I would say you probably need about $1,000 a month, a minimum, to spend. It works really well, but you almost need to feed the machine enough data to really optimize things. So if you're much below $1,000 a month, it can just take a long time to optimize. So if you're not able to put $1,000 a month in, I tell clients to focus on other marketing channels, grow the business, grow it to a stage where 1,000 is then doable. But Google Ads, it can be a really, really effective platform. It's much, much more complicated than Google LSA. So you'll find that Google LSA is getting pretty saturated. Most cleaning companies out there will be running a Google LSA campaign. It's very difficult to differentiate yourself and always be visible at the very top of that page. With Google Ads, it's a far more complicated platform. So if you know what you're doing, you're going to have an edge over 90-95% of other cleaning companies out there. So Google Ads is a fantastic campaign. We run Google Ads campaigns and SEO campaigns for 40, 50 cleaning companies across the country. I'll leave the link below the video if you would like some further information on that side. But really, the best marketing channels in running a remote cleaning business, in my view, are the Google marketing channels. So I hope this video has been helpful. In the next one, I'm going to run you through the quickest way to get 100 clients. And this is going to be really great for those of you that are interested in running a remote cleaning business and trying to figure out, how do I get those first cleaning company clients under my belt? I've got all the systems in place. Now we need to hit launch and get those new clients into the schedule. So I hope you found today's video helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.